for the first time and screams, "We're back, bitches!" Which is like one of the most iconic moments in the show. And then, of course, all of a sudden, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons starts playing.
Perfect.
Which, I mean, like, they couldn't have found a better song to use.
It's like it was written for this episode, even though we know better. But it was just awesome. I mean,
to this day, when I hear the song, that scene is the first thing that runs through my mind. Even though I'd heard the song plenty of times before.
Yep.
Just now, whenever I hear that song, I'm like, oh, The 100 and Octavia. It's just, they always say songs create memories, and it's so true.
Right. Definitely true.
And then they're all excited, and all the kids are running through the forest to Radioactive. But not Clark.
Not Clark. In typical Clark fashion.
She's straight to business.
Straight to business. How do we get this done? So, what do you have next?
She realizes that it's going to be harder, that they're farther away from Mount Weather than they had anticipated. And that there's a radiation-soaked forest in between them.
Right.
So they're eventually going to have to go on a mission.
Eventually. Pass or fail. Must have a mission. So, where are we next on the next scene?
Clark and Wells are trying to locate Mount Weather when the other kids step in and they start kind of having a, popularity contest about the privileged versus the non-privileged. And they need volunteers to go and help them get supplies from Mount Weather. But nobody seems too interested in helping serve any of Jaha's orders.
I wonder why that is.
So Bellamy thinks that Wells and Clark should go to Mount Weather themselves and get everything.
Not gonna happen.
He's like, let the privileged do the work for a change.
Right.
And everyone ends up agreeing with him, which I found kind of ridiculous. Like, Clark and Wells couldn't have been the only two privileged kids on the Ark locked up. Like...
What do you mean?
Because he says let the privileged do the work for a change, and he wants Wells and Clark to go and do everything. But, I mean, there had to be more privileged kids locked up on the Ark.
Yeah, definitely.
Murphy ends up fucking up Wells' ankle, so he's out on going to the Mount Weather mission.
Strike one.
I know. One of Murphy's many fuck-ups.
Definitely only one out of so many. A little fucker.
So, with Wells out of commission, Finn volunteers to go on the mission to Mount Weather. And, he ends up recruiting Monty and Jasper. And then Octavia was kind of fighting with Bellamy a little earlier about, I'm done with people telling me what to do. I want to go on an adventure. So, she signs up to go with them. And then, I guess they take off on their way.
Right.
And then, back on the Ark, they realize Jaha has been shot finally. Like, so much shit went down and they're just now finding out the Chancellor was shot.
You're right. It's just mass chaos to the point to where we don't even know the Chancellor's been shot. And you're on the Ark.
Like, the 100 have already lost people. They've already made it to the ground. They've already mapped out Mount Weather and, found where they had to go to get it. And then they find out Jaha has been shot. Like, that's a lot of stuff to happen before they find out Jaha got shot.
Right.
Like, would he not have bled out in this amount of time? That's just more television for you. So
yeah, just more television bull. And
then it's just a short scene where they find out that Jaha has been shot, and then it goes back to the ground. And the 5 explorers are on their way to Mount Weather. And Debbie Downer Clark there is, she's telling them why she's not enjoying herself. She says she's wondering why there's no sign of animal life and how much radiation they've been exposed to. After she says that, it's like a couple seconds later, they come upon this deer. And they're all excited and they're kneeling down and they're looking at this to them majestic animal. And then Finn goes to get a step closer, and he ends up stepping on a twig and alerting the deer, and he turns his head to the camera and the adventure squad. And the deer's got 2 damn heads on it.
Man, that was the beginning of, I can say, the fishnet for me, because when I saw that deer raise up and they pan to the side and that deer had 2 heads, I was like, uh-oh, things aren't as they seem.
Yeah, I just thought that opened up a whole another way of storyline that they had to go with. And I was like, so much could happen from here. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember saying the same thing, like, wow, man, here we are thinking things are A-okay, and you end up getting a deer that they approach with freaking 2 heads, or 2 faces at least. I mean, it was amazing.
It was a sight. I wish we got to see more of that. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Then they go back up to the Ark, and Abby and Jackson are fighting to save Jaha's life. And Abby decides that she's going to break the ration laws to save his life, because, they're telling her she's already used more than they're allowed to use. They have to stop. They're like, she's like, this is the Chancellor. We're saving him.
Right. She took matters into her own hand.
Yeah. And then out in the hallway, somewhere on the Ark, Shumway confronts Kane, letting him know that Bellamy was the one who shot Jaha.
Right.
And he tells him his motives for shooting Jaha, to get on the dropship for, his sister Octavia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shumway, or should I say Scumway?
Scumway works.
Tries to get Kane as acting chancellor to start reducing the population. And Kane says, no.
Not happening.
Back on the ground, Bellamy's trying to convince Murphy and his friend to join his cause of stopping the guard from coming down. And he gives them some half-assed speech. And honestly, that's all it took. They were in. They're like, yep, we're with you, man. I was just like, really? That's all it took for you guys to be on board? It's ridiculous.
Well, listen. Things happen unexpectedly, but like you said, seemed kind of easy, but it is what it is.
I know. And then we go boomeranging back up to the Ark again. Back on the Ark, Kane and Abby are arguing over the fate of the 100 on the ground. Abby's rattling off reasons of why they're still alive and what the different fluctuations mean, and Kane saying, no, they're dying and we don't have time to be discussing this. We gotta make them move fast. And then it goes back down to the ground again, which I'm just now realizing how much arc to ground, arc to ground, arc to ground goes on in the pilot episode.
Yeah, they're all over. They're doing flashes and scenes.
It's like all over the place in the pilot.
Yeah, like every minute, 30 seconds or even less, we're changing sets and changing locations. So
anyways, now they're back on the ground, and the 5 of them are going to Mount Weather still. Clark ends up telling them the real reason that they were sent to the ground, that the Ark is dying. She tells them there's only 3 months, maybe 4 left, with them gone, of life support left on the Ark.
Right.
And then Finn realizes that, that was Clark's crime on the Ark, knowing the truth. And Finn, being like the do-gooder peacekeeper that he is, wasn't standing for that. He just thought that was ridiculous. He already had heart eyes for Clark, but I think this gave him some more heart eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
When he found out that she was keeping that secret, or that she was locked up to keep that secret. And then all of a sudden, Clark tells them that her and her dad were trying to warn everybody, but that's when her dad got floated and she ended up getting locked up. And Finn ends up saying, we have to warn them. And just the look in her eyes when she's looking at him, it was like she was looking right into his soul. And she was just like staring right into his eyes like, that's what my daddy said. Like,
daddy issues.
and after that little heartfelt moment, they turn around to see Jasper feasting his eyes on Octavia, who's stripping her clothes off.
Right.
And all of a sudden, she takes this leap, and they all come running over. And Octavia's now, in some water. And Monty reminds her that, they can't swim. They've never been swimming before. She's like, Octavia, we can't swim. And then she's like, no, but we can stand, all sassy-like. And she stands up, and they're all looking, like, really excited. And Jasper starts taking his clothes off. They're going swimming. They're like, yeah, we're on the ground. There's swimming pools and Mai Tais, and it's going to be a grand old time. And as Jasper's derobing,
derobing,
he sees something swimming in the water. And he yells to Octavia, but he's too late. Because she gets dragged under the water. And
that surprised me when she got dragged under the water. I was like, whoa, what's going on?
I know, I was like, what? And it reminded me of the movie Tremors, that giant thing. I don't even know what to call it, like a water snake? I don't know. A radiated water snake?
Radiated water snake.
This large water creature is pulling Octavia, just jerking her around under the water.
It's like Leviathan.
Clark gets an idea to drop large rocks into the water to kind of divert the creature away from Octavia. And it actually ends up working. And Jasper, ever so heroically, just jumps into the water to save her. And I was just like, is that guy crazy? Did he not see what was pulling her around in there?
Right.
Like, at least, like, throw, like, a branch or something and be like, grab this. Don't throw yourself into the damn water.
But, no. Love makes you do foolish things. And he ends up getting a
kiss for it, I think. Is it just a hug or a kiss? I think she kisses him for it.
Yeah, I think she kissed for a hot second, but hey.
Because Monty says, note to self, next time, save the girl.
True that.
Again, with the one-liners in this show, like, we could do, like, a whole episode of me just laughing at the one-liners that I like in this show.
Yeah, they, like you said, there's a ton of one-liners, and let me say it. They're all really good.
I love shows that throw in those, it's pretty much in every show.
Yeah. There's always a character who has these, like, one-liners that are funny,
But in this show, there's, like, multiple characters that got one-liners, and it's better that way, I think. Because I love the one-liners. They're back at camp now, and the 100 seem to be just partying it up. You got a bonfire going, and they're all dancing around, and they're taking their wristbands off. I don't know what was going on, actually, at this point, but
they were just partying, man. They were just
I know, but I don't know how taking the wristbands off was part of the party. Maybe it was like a liberation party. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll call it that. The liberation party. And Wells steps into the scene, and he just looks around, and he's completely unpleased with what's going on because he knows what the wristbands are for.
Right. To be tracked, to make sure they're alive, monitor their vitals.
And he tries to tell everybody. He's like, this is the only way to communicate with the Ark. No one will come down here if they think we're all dead.
He's like, yeah,
and he reminds them of, like, and this is some foreshadowing too, he reminds them of the farmers and the guard and the doctors and the engineers It's kind of some foreshadowing to later on when